All right, friends, we're on to day 11, and today is to cry. I think that's probably the most obvious coping strategy that we can maybe think of, but it's also one of the hardest ones because there is stigma around crying, right? That crying denotes weakness, or that when you cry, that's a very vulnerable way to cope. And it's hard. It's hard when when you feel like you want to cry. That's when it's like you've hit your wall, right? You've hit your limit. And crying means that it's hard. But there are a lot of reasons why we cry. And, it could be that our just emotions are running crazy or hormones are running crazy. But crying has a lot of amazing benefits. And the first thing I want to talk about, though, is let's get rid of this stigma about crying, that it's weakness or that it's a bad thing. I know sometimes when you get around somebody that's crying, it's uncomfortable and it can feel awkward. But when we cry, there's a lot of amazing benefits. And crying is the best way to really push through all of the stress and anxiety that we feel. And there's the stigma that, crying is not weakness. And when we feel the things we feel, that it's just part of life. Everybody feels these, the lows that we feel, the blues and the stress, the anxiety, the grief, all of these things. But when we try to deny those feelings or push them away or ignore them, we're not growing. We're not healthy. But this pushing them away is, when we don't face our feelings, when we don't face what we're experiencing or going through, that's when it moves on to a disorder. Okay, when we don't feel safe or when we don't feel like we can express our feelings, that's when it becomes disordered. And we want to be able to have support when we have these feelings. And crying is a way to just let it go. So other physical benefits of crying are that when you cry, it releases toxins and bacteria that are built up inside you. And it's a way to just improve your mood. Whenever I get a good cry, I also need a good sleep right after that. And those are good things to cope and just let it go. It also, if you've ever seen that movie, the Inside Out, where Happy is trying to push sad away, suppress sadness, just suppress that. But when sadness was allowed to express herself, that's when she made connections. And so sadness and tears, that's what connects us, because we all have the feelings. And when we have that and we're able to express our tears, then there's space there for compassion and for empathy. And so my challenge is to just believe that it's okay to cry and that it's okay to feel these things that we feel, and to not make it such a stigma around all of it. So that's my challenge for you today. I know it's kind of a hard one, but easy too in a lot of ways. Just cry. Thanks again for following along. Be sure to share this with your friends. Send them to homeandfamilyculture.com/cope to catch all the videos in the 30-day challenge. And then head over to Instagram and find me at Family Culture Podcast. Tag me in your stories and tell me about how this series is making an impact on you. Tell me how this particular coping strategy is impacting you, and tag me and use the hashtag Family Coping Skills. Thank you so much for following along. You can also email me if you have questions or insights or anything you want to share at jody@homeandfamilyculture.com. Thank you so much.